Welcome back to the White Bread Podcast. I'm Kyla Philander.
And I'm Zonga Maloney.
And I'm producer Evan. I'm trying it on.
Still no surname, dude. Producer Evan.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Nasty.
Someone should look at our contract. Someone should double check our contract.
I gave myself a promotion.
We got the 360 with Evan.
We needed it to at least produce something.
Exactly.
Yeah. Thank you for being here, Evan.
It's an honor and a pleasure.
Stunning.
Wow.
So a lot happening in the culture, in life, in the news. We don't even really have a structure. We know.
Some might say too much.
Yeah, way too much. We need to keep it concise per topic.
Yeah.
So I want to start off with the most prominent thing in my mind.
Go.
Professor Pakeng.
A radical, a black radical.
This is all alleged. If there's any ad hominem, we won't be doing that in this podcast.
She is definitely a black radical, though.
Yes, of course.
A radical black, some might say.
Who just, I don't know what motivated her to do it, but had posted about purchasing 10 tickets to the Chris Brown concert in Joburg. And obviously was met with a lot of upsetness from Elon Musk's ex-users that are South African.
And she's a woman. And she was a vice chancellor at a university where there was a lot of GBVing happening. It's a strange hill to die on. And the thing we were talking about is how brilliant she is, right?
Yes.
Like, brilliant academic. One of the most published, I think, South African academics. Great mathematician, world-renowned. This is such a bizarre commitment to to Chris Brown. It's such a weird turn.
I think, and I don't want to expose myself and others, but I think everybody engages with a problematic fave at some point, particularly from an artistic perspective. My thing, and I think this is what the actual conversation is about, is that the need to share that with a ton of people, I think that is the rot and the disease, which is being hooked on social media and clout. You pose in your yoga pants. There's a very specific way you present yourself online that's aligned with validation and affirmation. And I think you can be all of the things that you listed, Mzor, but when social media catches you, it really...
No one's exempt. Yeah.
And that's scary to me.
That is terrifying to me.
I'm shaking right now.
Yeah.
And she makes me think about not having a control on your contrarianism.
Yeah.
It makes me very self-reflexive of is your opinion that important that everybody needs to know it at all times about everything? And it's just definitely served as a warning for me. I do think, just for context, just in the deep criticism, sometimes ad hominem observations that people made about the professor. There was talk about her and Uyinene and what happened during her time as a vice chancellor, and it having supposed value for her as an individual and her students, right? Yeah. And to do away with all of that with this statement, this exclamation, is really weird. And then people memifying her presence on social media as part of this forced apology that these people are making. She outed herself again by getting into the specifics of the yoga power pose. And it was a very specific reason that she was in that position of her stretching in front of the UCT building. And she was I was warming up for the Jerusalem dance that me and the students were doing for social media.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Something.
I made it dark. I'm sorry. I know you started off trying to have fun.
No, I get it though. I think it is that. It is because I think about it from the point of view of like you said, anyone can get caught by social media, right? But more importantly, I think when we think about transformation, right? We think about it as so Professor Pakeng somehow has to enter the academy behaving like an old white man, right? And so perhaps my disjuncture with what Professor Pakeng can be at the same time
Right.
has to do with like my expectation for a position that actually that's what being transformative means, right? Like is to transform the behavioral understanding of what can happen in a particular position and not just the face of the position.
Well, it's a collision of survival and entitlement that ends in this weird outlet. I do have empathy for her.
Yeah.
Because there is a certain generation that had to occupy these spaces that were so male dominated, and we didn't have the girl boss rhetoric just yet. Like men were doing fucked up shit to women in corporate, in politics, in the arts, and she survived because she became a part of it.
And she also played the game, right? She beat them at the thing, and then she was like, I'm in charge. And then I guess whatever the strange outcome of that is, however it played out, is the result of some sort of real transformative action, right?
It's interesting because like the start of her tenure was like the peak, or like just after the peak of the fullest thing,
And the introduction of the Me Too movement,
yes,
and the
exactly, and
the reckoning
now,
on gender-based violence.
exactly, it was like the binary was extremely polarized at that point, and her time in office or whatever, or in that position, has kind of melted away that binary again.
Yeah.
Because of who she is, because she didn't conform to that thing.
Yeah.
You know, so she, like, a lot of people are getting a bit of whiplash from her because she's like got an identity,
And
but
there
she's
still
not.
needs to be structure within this retransformed thing that you're attempting to do. Like all of us middle class motherfuckers are like, we're gonna change the system from within.
Yeah.
That is a cope that people in these spaces use.
And she's also extending it, right? Like you were talking about girl boss. It's like there's a place where it goes from pop cultural conceptual ideas to someone actually walking
reality.
down to being like, actually, you're gonna do things the way I need them to be done, right? And that's uncomfortable. That's like a big gesture she's making. She's saying at the cost of this fucking whatever the fucking job. I'm sure she was like, who cares? I can get 10 million other jobs. This is a job.
I'm going
This
to
is-
Chris Brown.
Yeah, it's like this is a fucking
And I'll let
job,
you know
right?
about it.
And I don't value it the same way you value it.
Yeah.
So while I'm here, I'm cowboy. I'm like, we're
Interesting.
gonna drive you up the walls for a little while, because that's how I felt. Because that's how I felt over here. So hi, and I think that's this weird thing that's happening with her, where I think like there's like the white academics are absolutely jarred by this person, right? By the lack of decorum, and when I look at like the sense of politeness that like is generally demanded upon black people, it's like I kind of get it. She might have lost it, right? She might have genuinely lost
I
her
think-
mind in the process.
No, I think it's you. That's a really interesting observation because now she's left the black academics gobsmacked.
Yeah, because they also playing to the politeness. They also. I think there was a professor Ulwazi Lushaba. He's been riding, dog. He's been riding for Professor Pakeng because I think he might not like structurally what's happening, but he likes what's happening. He's like, whatever this discomfort is, whatever you have to deal with. And he was talking about like a resurgence of this kind of politeness. He's like, the pushing out of Professor Pakeng is like almost like a broad return into like the not just in the academy, but old white South African norms are returning to the fray, right? So GNU we were talking about last week.
But then
Old
she
South
uses-
African norms, yeah.
Sure, but then she uses her class separation to impose upon people that oppose her.
Yeah.
She's a
Which-
product of her time. man.
Exactly. So she's also inside.
She's
of it.
everything.
She's everything. She's everything.
Yeah. The
Um,
fact that it's
Beyonce.
confusing is
Literally, dude.
We can't release that episode.
The Cabal
the
episode.
unarchived.
The Beyonce Cabal.
Damn. Damn, dude.
But she is also, she's beautifully a product of that. I won't go into detail into that, but like it's a product of that and a product of that thinking and the girl boss and the and she like she lived it.
She's
She stepped
blowing it
into
up.
it. Yeah, like she stepped into it for real and
Yeah.
was like, whatever, fire me. What's the worst that could happen? I made some of my people uncomfortable. So what? And there's malpractice in it and there's all of those things, but that I think is being a product of your environment, an outcome of your environment. You are produced by this thing.
I think people's frustration, they should like really observe their disgust and their frustration in reaction to the professor, because I think that's more of a symbol of your own positionality in society than actually what she's doing. And I think people need to reckon with that frustration. I was just like, could I do that?
Yes.
Maybe.
Yeah.
And that's a lesson.
Yeah.
Like,
But like you said in the beginning, everyone has their problematic phase.
That's what I'm
right?
saying.
People make allowances, but
That's
can
what
you
I'm
go
saying.
online and be like, yo,
this,
by the way, dude, Kels is bumping today in my house.
whoa. Take it easy. Yeah.
By the way, Jay-Z's bumping in my house.
That's what I'm saying, dog. And I also think
He hasn't
the
been
symbol,
convicted yet.
he'll be fine. The symbol of like an extremely successful, incredible woman, entitled in her desire to go watch this man, is so South African.
Yeah. And we act like we're not watching these men in our communities.
That part, bro.
Shit. So people act like this is the first time they've heard of this.
That's and I think that's her
It's strange.
frustration. She's like, okay, I'm gonna rock y'all because it's always me. It's always the black woman. So let's rock.
Let's actually go.
Let's rock.
So outs to her, actually. This went a completely different direction than what I expected.
Me too. I didn't love the apologies. That's the one thing that left like, because she went low and then she deleted the tweet as well. She came out as pro-life in this moment.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. But I think, I don't think it's a misreading. I think it's just a retracted statement. It's not...
Yeah.
She's not committing to saying, I think differently of that thing, really. The apology is more like,
of course,
my bad.
It never is. How could it ever be?
Yeah, that's what she means. And she said what she means. And we need more people in South Africa saying what they mean.
No, we don't.
We need more
No,
people.
please, can we put... Everyone needs to just stop saying stuff, I think, in South
people
Africa.
they're not saying what they
Cancel
mean.
white bread
Cancel,
podcast.
exactly. Cancel all
Everyone
of
needs
this stuff.
to shut up.
Gag orders everywhere.
My king needs to rock everybody.
Damn.
So yeah, for me, it was just a very key moment of introspection, especially when you utilize the story and the narrative of the people to get ahead.
Yeah. Yeah,
Very
she was the people
interesting.
as well, because we were saying about Gaten, either a man of the people or like a problematic fave. And I feel like Pakeng, I think maybe that's the theme of our podcast. I feel like Pakeng is like problematic fave, but also
Come on,
of
White.
the people.
Come on the podcast.
Yeah.
Professor.
We'll get on.
Please, I think this is a possibility. Like, I feel like I'd want to talk and should be much smarter than anything I could ever say.
Same,
And that's
and it
what
would
I'm
be
excited
embarrassing
about.
for
Yeah,
us.
it's going to be
we'd look
embarrassing
like
that I
such
even had an opinion.
losers.
Yeah.
Like,
She'll be
she'll
so
be like, okay,
brilliant.
cool, let's lock in. It'll be like quiet.
She should come on the pod.
Yeah.
She should come on the pod. Another
I'll get on it.
problematic fave. We actually fucking wrote a character based on this guy in a script we were doing,
Yeah.
and the script I still great. Vusi Tembegwai.
Zoe and I have an entire unreleased episode that we recorded last year about Musi.
Why not
What?
release that? He's
We're
not litigious
obsessed
or
with
anything.
him.
Maybe we'll pair these two episodes together.
Wow.
A segment from that with this.
What, unarchive the
Exactly.
prof episode
Like right at the end.
and Vusi.
Exactly.
Yo.
Unlocked at the end
Why
of
are
the episode.
we, as like a trio, obsessed with this man?
Damn. Well, I think he's also he is like a unique, specific individual, especially because he's South African, so he's got all of that. But he's also a mold of something else that I think we're seeing in the world. He's like a very pure example of that thing. He says he's like the exact textbook definition.
It's
of
like
that
if
kind
Andrew
of dude.
Tate had like some form of a semblance of language.
Do you know?
Exactly.
Mm.
Exactly.
Do you know if we were honest with ourselves, there's an archetype that comes out of like South Africa or many places where there's boys' schools. There's a particular archetype,
Wake it up.
and this archetype isn't all bad because this archetype is actually quite charming.
But
This
also-
archetype reads as equipped and ready.
But it
and,
also
and-
makes men interrogate each other because
Yeah.
they're forced to be around one another, which
Very
is like one of the
polite.
worst things
that could happen.
you could wish upon anyone. You know?
But there's this archetype, and it's
Yeah.
a very beloved archetype. There's something about this absolutely certain figure that's
Well-mannered,
taken,
intelligent,
just like
charming.
has learned very well. Like
Yep.
that's the British would be like,
Yep.
you've taken on our
It's-
culture
it's
very well.
almost as
He
sinister as
speaks
it
so
gets.
well.
Exactly. But we love
can
this
say stuff
character,
like
dog.
that.
This character is very important, and I think that's who he is, and he's so familiar, and,
Yeah.
and he's been reproduced a million times.
There's
That's-
like a vein in the in most societies. Or like neoliberal societies. There's a vein of that.
Who are you guys more obsessed with? Vusi, Temakwai, or Mac G?
Vusi.
Yeah, me too.
Definitely
Vusi's
Vusi.
way more
I
interesting.
think, I think Mac G's
Mac
like, he reminds me
G.
of like a radio, weird sort of like South African
Yeah, yeah,
presenter popularity.
Yeah.
It's like,
The-
I don't know.
core cast members,
Exactly.
core personality.
Like
Like-
that's you don't want to dive head
cueing
first
the
into that
music.
pool. It's very shallow. You'll break your neck.
Ooh, Evan. Oh.
It's true
Whipping it
though.
out.
It's true.
Sassy.
Yeah.
If it's I don't know if it's true. It's true.
It's true. But I think Vusi, dog, I think Vusi is like a special, and he's
Would
performing.
you
He's
fuck pussy? No, I'm joking. Sorry, I
Would
need to
you
stop.
suck-
Okay, sorry. Carry
I
on.
wouldn't, because apparently he's going broke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's pawning his fucking cars. All this
What
business
happened?
rhetoric. What happened? Because he was yelling at Jacob
What I wanna
Zuma.
know is-
And
Yeah,
now I
about
want to understand
capitalism.
exactly about capitalism.
Yep.
And now
Yep.
cars are being pawned.
Yeah. But Did
Did I see a Ferrari in that headline?
not unlikely, dude. Not unlikely. I mean, is it PR? That's what I want to know.
It
with that
can't be
guy.
because he's positioning himself as a financial professional and expert.
People-
Maybe he's about
people
to be
pivot,
the
dude.
president.
He's the
Maybe this is
comeback
his
king.
play, dude.
Oh, he's like getting rid of the
Yeah.
fancy
Yes.
shit.
Stumble
getting
to the
Yes.
bottom and watch this turn. How the story about the car being pawned being like
Uh-huh.
something he doesn't care
Yeah,
about.
that was the
there's-
low point. That was the
Yeah.
low point.
Oh, it's on New Gateson, baby.
I can't wait.
Well, first he has to go to prison.
That's the first trick. That's like incarcerate him. Vusi's on his way. Didn't he beat?
A South African man.
alleged.
I
Fuck,
mean,
let's
No,
just
that's why I stopped at beat.
beatbox.
Didn't he beatbox?
Word.
guys, I'm so scared. After someone got some form of threatening letter for calling someone a dumb bitch, I thought that was a free for all.
Surely it is a free for all.
It's not. Someone had to apologize for calling her
There's
a
no
dumb
First
bitch.
Amendment in South Africa.
Hectic.
man.
No First Amendment
think-
rights.
I don't. I'm sure there's some amendment. But
I'm
I
not
don't know
trying
the
to
number.
sound like American, like podcast bro coded, but I think when someone with more money than you has the power to shut you up just because they don't like what you're saying, I don't think that's a good sign for
Yeah.
the society. And that's my criticism of Professor Paking. Like I think people can be imperfect. They can have multiple like shades and levels to the shit, right? But I think when you bully and use your money, and not even your intellect, your amazing charisma, you're actually just using that 12 million rand payout to like
To be mean.
not even be mean, because for me, like, apologies are so important. I won't get into like the specifics about it, but verbalized or even shown in action, I mean, that's a separate conversation, but like apologies are so dear to me to think that like I would force someone to say sorry and feel satisfied off of that. It's so bizarre. It feels like
It's a type of humiliation.
it is. And I guess I just can't wrap my head around that kind of imposing upon someone.
Yeah.
Sorry, not to bring it back, but I've been obsessed. Like, it was hectic.
It's a very
It was a
hectic
hectic reckoning.
Yeah.
So
But yeah.
I don't want to call Vusi a dumb bitch.
But
But
no name calling, but
yeah, he's an incredible. We speak about symbols so much on the pod. Incredible symbol of the middle class experience in South Africa.
daydream in South Africa.
But we were talking about
Daydream.
his accent. Have you guys been seeing those TikTok white kids who grew up in like the Eastern Cape and whatever? They're like literally sounding like the new blacks in
Yes.
basically.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But somehow, I don't know. It's not my portion.
All of those kids blow up on TikTok. All South
So
Africa.
this is what Shai was saying, but my portion, it's not my portion, but my thing is like it doesn't feel as unnatural as it used to.
Here's the thing. I think there was a point. I might have had this conversation, but there's something quite attractive in sort of seeing this happen. There's a
Same.
kind of leaning towards me that I think is important, that
Yeah.
I care about. I don't know whatever creates it. We can argue about
Yeah.
like the social
Yeah.
kind of space
The
that
material
creates it.
conditions.
Yeah, the material conditions on the ground. We can argue all we want, but there's something important about that lean towards something, and it's not something that is, necessarily in abundance. It's something that's receding,
rare,
right? Like there's
yeah.
something receding about these cultural experiences, and so for this leaning kind of brings some kind of
It feels
it's
also
strange. It's a
less
weird awareness.
performative than it ever has when it comes to
Yeah.
whites intermingling with black people.
Yeah.
So it's just like an interesting. Speaking of accents,
we've
it's
we've
funny.
had big South African celebrities. A guy named Pule who he was a rapper or
Yeah.
something and used to do like Tswana raps, and he was this white guy. And there's a couple of them throughout the timeline. I can't think about them
No,
now.
of course,
I don't
yeah.
have the names, but there's many of them.
I feel like Snort Corp, although he had like a grungy thing, he was definitely leaning into colored, like
Yes.
cultural signifiers through accents and language and
But
stuff.
yeah, at some point it's sincere, and then there's also like
Yes.
the antwoord. Do you know what I mean? Which is strange. It's like so there's places where it plays and kind of moves that
And
I
it
like
works.
it. Yeah, that
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know, I like it.
Yeah.
It's difficult to whatever it is. I'm glad he's
And then we
speaking
have
Xhosa.
Vusi
And then we have Vusi
on the
who's
other end of the spectrum.
And I used to defend people like this, right? Like,
Vusi.
because I think that's the thing about being here in South Africa. It's like you don't make yourself. It's these boys' schools. There's a broader agenda that produced you, and that agenda, like I know Vusi. Vusi is the guy that, like, we've all met this person that's like at a party in your ear, kind of shipping off a new business idea, But he's the one that made it, right? Like, he's the one that made it successful. The one guy is going to forever tell you about some business proposition, and Vusi somehow made it happen.
Well-
But it doesn't mean that the psychosis falls away. That is still, whatever that relationship to capital as this type of person, that psychosis hasn't disappeared. So even as it fails now, or whatever's happening in his life, I'm not wishing it upon him. But as it collapses, I'm sure the crisis Vusi has to face, it's like I've met, because I'm from the Northwest, so I've met a lot of tenderpreneurs that have once they've failed, this turn that we were speaking about, this kind of humanist, humanist turn into being like,
The
this is
ethical
what's, the
bag.
ethical return,
Yeah.
to something. And it has to do with losing large sums of money and that immediate collapse. And
Fuck.
all of that creates a whole other, a whole other responsibility and idea in your mind around capital, about what it meant.
And now, if
how-
I don't do it for me, I need to do it for the people. We
Yeah,
need to make
yeah.
money
but
for the
you're forever gonna be
people.
that uncle that's like, yo, I had a Ferrari, boy. You don't know Joburg. Me, I know Joburg. You're that uncle. I'm like, What's is that uncle? But you're also like, yeah, but you don't need those things, man.
Right, you must
You don't
focus
need
on your
money,
studies.
focus on your studies, just get a good job.
Don't try start a company.
Enough with all of that.
And, I'm aligned.
Those
You guys,
people are produced in
don't
that
start
pocket.
companies or businesses. It's
Exactly.
very hard.
So we were talking about Vukuzenzele last week and all of that stuff. It comes from that.
Yeah.
So that era of Vusi Tembekwayo, that tenderpreneur, they come from they've been produced by a particular South Africa
Yeah.
that like go out there and be entrepreneurs and
Self-made.
that
Yeah.
drive to become
but
that.
the thing about Vusi is that is the thing that is his product. That
Yeah.
message is his product.
Yeah.
I don't really know much about his business dealings, but I think that he wouldn't be as so successful in his business dealings if it wasn't for his public persona, the perception. It's
Yes.
all about perception.
But that was a very deliberate move, and I think the context which made him ripe for this moment that started, I would say, like later 2000s, like pushing towards more 2010, which is this hustle culture.
Yeah.
The hustle report. Like,
Exactly.
you know, these men in suits telling you, get your money up, get your gains up, get into the gym. It just really coincided with like a cultural moment as well. And I
Yeah.
just,
Definitely.
it's maybe I need to do research to be talking about this, but I find like, you know, that culture's kind of dying as like a theme.
It is
People are
dying.
like, "Oh, we're going and sunning our assholes rather than making money, drinking breast
Inevitably.
milk, you know, and obviously
Had to turn because it
pawn
wasn't
his
true.
cars.
Also, you give enough, you know, there's enough time to retrospect on what it's meant
Right.
for everyone.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's not the truth.
It's
And
that,
it's-
but that's
it's-
what happens when you follow trends, and it's so interesting how social media affects your life so drastically because you're caught up in a trend. And
Sure.
I think that's what makes trafficking really interesting. It feels like she's like I'm scared to say, like she chases a certain thing, but at the same time is somehow like a trendsetter.
Exactly.
Whereas Wussy was like caught up in the tide, in the wave, but not
Yeah.
really riding it.
Yeah.
Just
it's-
flailing a little
It's
bit.
like, yeah, it's like a weird time
Yeah.
where Jay-Z was having like interviews with
Right.
Warren Buffett.
Right.
It's like that type of intersection of human being
And
those-
Andrew
sharing
Tate,
knowledge.
unfortunately,
Yeah.
Andrew Tate, like he presents himself as a businessman.
Yeah. And so yeah,
You know,
so
so-
I think he's a product of that, and I'd love to see a public failure. Like I've had it in my personal life a million times. I've seen families
True.
because I'm from a
Interesting.
small mining town, right? So I've
Yeah.
seen the collapse from a corrupt whatever. You know, you made like hundreds of millions of rands, lived in ridiculous homes, drove the cars, and then you see the collapse, and you're in the same city. I think that case study hasn't happened publicly. I haven't seen it play out like, you know, the absolute kind of withdrawal from something, the failure
Interesting.
from somewhere. And
Yeah,
so
he must
yeah,
keep it public
I hope
for the
he's
young
fine.
people.
But
Yeah.
I think he's got that same poison of
Sharing,
attention
yeah, and needing
seeking.
to
As-
have
as-
his
as-
life
it-
observed.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I
Yeah.
think he's got it real bad. No.
Ooh, it's
no
scaring me.
It's good. It's good.
I mean,
It's
it
a
is.
dream that's ending. I like hindsight because there's so much
cure. I'll
clarity.
be very
on the
surprised
things.
if he doesn't pivot though at some point.
He will pivot. I think he's already like this
He'll never ride it all the way
public
down to the bottom.
speaker, whatever. So
I think he should go the what's that irritating guy from Canada? That Canadian Jordan
fucking-
Peterson.
Yeah.
I think he should go that route. I don't
They-
think
they
he's
kind of
gonna.
He's
similar,
there,
though.
he's
They
there.
kind of
when
similar.
We were
Yeah.
writing him, we were also watching a lot of Jordan
But I do
Peterson.
feel
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
but I feel like the reason Vusi has to take the turn is he didn't put in the work
Got
to
you.
bolster his argument and
Got
his
you.
intellect and the position he holds.
Yeah.
Whereas Jordan Peterson, like, ensconces himself in be it the most ridiculous rhetoric and
Yeah.
way of thinking, but he's like actively in that conversation. Whereas Vusi's just like, you can only tell people the same thing like 5 times.
Exactly. Do you know what I'm interested in? Someone else I've been thinking about that's in this vein and in this mold is Umar Johnson, Dr. Umar Johnson. I'm like, actually, I've never seen Umar Johnson sit down with his peers. Like I'd actually like to see
But that
him.
one time when he went on, was it Joe Biden or Charlemagne?
Yeah.
That was an interesting conversation. He was like holding men accountable.
Yeah.
But also he's done a spiritual shift.
Yeah.
He's found God. He's moved away from Islam into Christianity.
Yes. But I'm
Same.
interested. Same Zeus. Alhamdulillah. I want to see him sort of like, he's a very sharp guy. I'd like to see him sort of contend with his ideas
Stop
being
playing.
questioned a
Like,
little bit.
Be for real. Be sincere.
Yeah, I'm like if you're
imagine
forwarding,
Vusi was a sincere guy.
but that's what I'm saying. If he was forwarding
I don't
serious
think he
notions,
has it in him.
Who?
When he's with himself, I don't think
Yeah.
he's sincere. I don't. Not at that. I just don't think he has that.
No, it's a grand
faculty.
expectation. I always see the potential in people. That's my
Vusi,
own.
come on the podcast.
Come on, man. It's
I'd like to be
We
stunned
can
out
map
of this.
it out for you. We can do a little mind map about your trajectory. We can help a bit with the PR.
Yeah.
We know what market you're talking to. Like, come through.
Come through.
for
And
free.
presence is so jarring as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like, we'll
niggas-
shut the fuck
niggas will
up.
talk
Exactly.
shit about the president until the president walks in. Then
We
you're
still be
"Nice
like,
to
yo,
Nice to meet
so
you,
what
sir."
were you saying about tender entrepreneurs? Sorry,
Nothing
what
like
was
that. Yeah, he would separate himself immediately from that.
Yeah.
That's one of the key things. The fact that I even put him in the same world,
Yeah.
he would say, I this
You
is
didn't eat.
Yeah.
you didn't understand what was
Uh-huh.
going on.
Uh-huh.
That's why he's interesting. I just
Yeah.
think he needs to commit to the bit
Yeah.
and do the homework
yeah.
Yeah.
instead of going on social media on like X, like read a paper.
Yeah, he was yelling at his phone once during
Stop
yelling at the
that.
South African government. I'm
Put
like,
it down,
focus,
read a book.
Focus.
Watch a YouTube video.
Yo.
Speaking of
Yeah.
social media, RIP to the legend Tito Mboweni. Just as a good segue, I wanted to read Ridi Tlabi response to finding out about his passing. No, come on. You can't do this. You cannot do this. What happens now? Governor, who must I troll now about cooking? Kikhali, Kahama, shoes and tailor-made suits. You call me and tell me to give you a break. I can't give you a break. Please come back. Come back. Hashtag Tito Mboweni.
Excellent.
Why did she say that?
Excellent.
That's how she expresses hurt. I don't know.
Does Genoeg Nou? Put the phone down. Does Genoeg Nou?
No idea.
Some thoughts are to be said to your partners. Sometimes not even that. Sometimes to be just said in the mirror looking at yourself so you can see what the fuck it is that's coming out your mouth.
Before I comment on this, what's our opinion on the governor? Because I think that matters to how she just put it.
That's a
That
good
might be the
question.
greatest piece of satire we've ever seen.
Well,
Or
she
that
was
might be-
very hard on him. That
Yeah.
was their dynamic, which is why I find this a little bit of a cop-out on her part.
Yeah, but maybe there's a bit of satire in there.
or-
Maybe
or
there's
like
a bit of
banter.
like, yeah,
But he just died.
that's
No, but like
perfect.
banter while like her being hard on him was her being like, "Yo, man, I see
I'm
you.
holding you
I'm
accountable
gonna
and I love
call it
you."
like I see it."
Yeah.
Exactly.
I don't know.
I don't have a real opinion. He was just cooking, dude. I don't know how to be upset at an uncle who's
Sardines.
cooking, even
Just
if he's
cooking.
fucking up the
Just
economy.
cooking.
Like he's cooking.
Did you see Sardines, the brand? What is they called?
Lucky
All
Star,
Lucky
Lucky
Star.
Star, yeah.
Also. They were like, oh, our fave, RIP, a little campaign.
Ride
for
the
him.
wave, man.
Yeah, everyone was saying
Guys,
that.
I
They
think
miss him for
that's
his
what they
cooking.
This
do.
is
The
what I'm
eulogy I
saying.
sent.
Does Genoeg know?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
we wouldn't know about his little cooking moments if it wasn't for social media.
Yeah, exactly. He caught the bug, man.
And guess what? A South African is at the bottom of this all.
Well, we're talking
Elon
about
Musk.
exactly. We're talking about X. Talking about weird accents. It all lines up.
Parasites, dude.
Guys,
Fucking parasites, South Africans.
why did he just explode that spaceship and then do the landing in the crane or whatever?
Fuck.
Yeah.
Why did he do that?
Because now he's got reusable rockets.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
the logic.
That's the logic.
They can just shoot the rockets up
Yeah.
at amazing rates
And also,
And
I
then
guess
catch them.
and then catch
The-
them.
the-
Amazing.
exactly. And the thing about this is, that's Elon's thing. Nah, dude. There's like fucking genius engineers and designers
At
that worked on that
SpaceX.
SpaceX.
Come on, Evan.
And Elon's like, hey guys, I made this rocket.
I did this.
Of course.
He's
He's saying
South
this before.
African.
He's very South African.
I'm getting 10 Chris Brown concert tickets
Our
for
brilliant
December.
refugee
Ew.
escaping the
Yeah.
the whirlwind of
Yeah.
post-apartheid South
The
Africa.
grifters, man.
The grifters that moved, they did well.
The
Hey,
richest man on earth is
a
there
South African
because of
grifter.
pure grifting.
Well,
Pure
I thought it
grifting.
was the Kimberley mine or like the diamonds.
No, I mean, that's like the early days. I mean, his family story is
Pretty
weird.
nice.
It's really weird. Yeah, he's actually like half Canadian.
Mm.
Yeah, on his
And his
mother's
mom
side.
looks like a supervillain. And his dad's
Your
like the
kids.
weirdo South African man, right?
Yeah, I think there's.
Yeah.
He
there's
married
bad-
like
bad
a
vibes with the dad,
stepdaughter or something.
Yeah, allegedly.
But good job on
Allegedly.
catching the rocket.
Yeah, well
dude.
done, Elon.
Good
Yeah,
job.
well done, dude,
You did
well
that,
done.
dog.
You did it, dude. He's the main last
That
boss of
picture of
capitalism.
him and Trump is so amazing.
Fuck,
Do
dude.
you hear what Trump's at? So I'm halfway through watching the Trump on Schultz. What's that? The whatever that podcast
With
is.
the comedian.
I do
Yeah.
not like and subscribe.
But I'm watching
Two
that
black men
thing.
got cancelled because of that guy.
I don't know. they are interesting as a dynamic. I've seen all of the Trump interviews were getting a little boring after a while. This interview
'Cause he
does
calls him
something
out,
else.
or what?
And no, Trump is
He's
so
a star.
desperate to be cool.
He's a star.
There's the first time I'm like,
He's a
oh,
baby.
here's this desperation finally showing to be like, I'm with the boys.
He's
I'm
tap
with the
dancing
fellas.
for the boys, baby.
Yeah.
I'm with the
Yeah.
fellas.
He's following
And he's
policy
light,
advice.
and he's
Yeah.
interesting.
He was.
They're like, yo, we need-
There
we
were
need-
some gems on him.
There were some big gems there.
They
Did
need
you
that
see that
demo.
clip of him like presenting to an audience or some shit, and he's like, "Where are my gays in the audience?" And then the people are like, "Woo!" And he's like, "You don't look gay." He's like, "The gays love me." Like T.
He's a wild man. But in that interview
Yes, sorry.
with Schultz, he
Yes.
says he compliments Elon Musk's waist. He says, "What a guy." We were talking about the potato body. He says, he's like, "What a guy. His waist is so slim. Like, this guy is
Because he
working
be
out."
on that Ozempic,
Ozempic.
baby. The girls are injecting into the tummy.
So I'm sure Trump is looking at the
No
horrible
tummy.
ex tweets about his body and going like, "I'm gonna help out my friend. I'm gonna say something nice about my friend's body on this podcast," and I really like that. So shout out to those two. Great pictures, beautiful together.
Beautiful friendship. They just like
It
us
makes
for
sense.
real. okay?
Very few friendships make sense like that. So keep going, keep shining.
Mutually beneficial friendships.
You know what I mean? Keep shining.
Sorry, back to Tito Mboweni.
Tito, yeah, I don't know how I feel about Tito. I don't have a strong feeling, but I do know I have to respect. He's the governor. I don't know.
But what did he do, Evan? What did he do?
He was the governor of the
Reserve Bank.
Reserve Bank.
But the Reserve Bank doesn't mean shit, right?
It means a lot, yeah. They set interest rates.
Yeah.
And they are a huge part of stabilizing the very unstable
But
economy.
he was the main feature during the trickle down economic.
Economic. Yeah, that's what I
Exactly.
remember.
He was the
Yes.
mainstay, and I think he kept those beliefs right till the end.
The
I think he
Thabo
was-
Mbeki
It's meant to be
moment.
nonpartisan.
like the old black man on a farm going like,
Here's
everyone
my
will get
smoking
here, yeah.
pipe. I'm gonna make
Everyone's
some
gonna make
sardines
it here
for you.
eventually if
Some
we just are
smoochie.
patient and have everyone just be patient. These are complex equations, and we're gonna stabilize this whole
But that's
thing.
why I literally
Stabilize.
asked.
Yeah.
The Reserve Bank doesn't matter because to the material condition, it doesn't.
It doesn't.
That's why people were aligned with him and his stupid little dinners that he made on Twitter. Because that's more relatable than talking about
Oh,
a failing
yes.
economy, baby.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like, so what? The economy was failing. This guy's cooking. For
Now
you.
I'm gonna really won't be able to have little bands with him on X. What's she gonna do, guys?
Yeah, who will she speak to about bad cooking? And how did he die? Actually,
Yeah.
is it food related?
I don't know. I know he was
Like
in
cholesterol or
hospital.
something? Is it like? Because then that would be a fucking zinger. If everyone's talking, all everyone is talking about is fucking food, we could see it was unhealthy. And everyone, the fucking sponsors are giving him they know Lucky Star is not good for this man. So I pray it's not cholesterol or some food related incident. I hope not. That's all.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace to the governor.
Okay, what else are we gonna Oh, MIA, guys.
Oh my goodness.
Sorry, I've literally created this into a social media theme.
That's perfect.
That's good. It's
Episode.
perfect. It aligns.
You're the
Yo,
researcher.
dude, I went deep on her Twitter yesterday.
So I sent the White Bread WhatsApp group a tweet that MIA made, and I believe it's still up. It was on Sunday, in fact. This is a quote from MIA. This is not me speaking. This is MIA's tweet. Mexicans call it United States of America. They're not lying.
Fuck.
Then I was on X today, and I saw something really interesting by MIA. Another tweet. AI equals actually Indians.
There's nothing gorilla I've read in with my 2 eyes in the past couple of years.
Than the AI actual Indians.
Actual Indians.
She ate though.
Like done
She ate it
deal.
done. She didn't come up with
tell
that.
one lie. It doesn't.
I heard it before.
Okay.
But she publicly said it.
I love it.
Wow.
I also don't understand. Is she coming for Mexicans or
Jews.
in that statement?
I think the Mexicans are safe. The Mexicans do call it United States of America.
But it's because of their accent. So she's also being racist towards Mexicans.
Yeah.
The indigenous people always take hits.
They bear the
Me
grind.
as a so-called colored person.
Bear the
It's just me and Tyler against the wall.
MIA is not welcome anywhere. And I
Except
think
at a
she's fine.
RFK rally.
Yeah.
That's her crowd.
That's
She
RFK.
is into RFK.
Mhm.
He sounds so scary when he talks.
Yeah, I don't
guys.
like it. I don't think
scares
I
me.
can accept that.
Yeah.
I
It's-
think how the president speaks matters to me. Like I
Mm.
fucking
Cyril's voice
Cyril's-
sounds so good. It's very
he's,
calm.
you know, he's very calm. I've seen him do like I think
And the little laugh is nice.
he has less authority on our TV, but when he's on like the UN stage or whatever, there's something
he
about
eats.
him
He
that
gets
feels
like very powerful.
Definitely.
that
Whereas
feels
he
stronger.
feels like
Here he's
daddy
flailing,
type.
yeah.
Here he's like a bit of a absent dad
Exactly.
vibe. Very South African.
So, so I think, yeah, MIA, thumbs up, dude.
No.
General thumbs up. Say what
You
you
have
need
like
to say.
2 bangers and you come in heated on Twitter like, you're not Kanye West.
A
Relax.
little bit of a grifter too.
Very much.
100%. 100%.
Billionaire baby, figured it out. Brilliant move, dude.
I'm sorry, Diplo made her bangers and we hate him. But
Yeah.
it's because of him that those songs exist.
So you're saying she should shut up?
I think everyone, dis genoeg nou.
Yeah.
Yes.
Genoeg is
received.
genoeg.
Message
Dis
received.
genoeg nou.
I'm afraid it's only going to get worse.
And if they talk, we talk. That's
Yeah,
that's
literally, it's just us been reading tweets this
Yeah.
whole fucking
So
episode.
if no one talks, dude, we have nothing going on. We fucking skip a week. We wait for other things to happen.
Yo, people come here for the deep analysis, dude, and now we're reading tweets. Wow.
It's deep analysis. It's the culture. And we've spoken about this in an archived ep, but like, what has social media done for the reality, for the material condition?
For the material conditions.
What
on the
has
ground.
it done? It's bled into our real world, and our real world's bled into social media.
Yeah.
And it's this weird, it's like Venom and that Hardy, Tom Hardy.
Yeah.
That's like the vibe of social media. You can't, at this point, separate yourself. And that's a problem.
Yeah, yeah.
Is it permanent? Is it
It's
forever?
it's starting to feel that way.
Okay, because we were all hoping for phases because we'd seen social media platforms die.
I think if you want a phase of not being on it, you have to self-enforce it, self-impose.
Yeah, and
but-
you kind
but-
of have to literally go be somewhere where you can't access the internet because in some ways, as soon as you're on the internet, it's
Yeah.
like less than a click away.
But on an individual level, yes. But I'm thinking more like on a social conscious level. Is there a turning point? What could end it?
I hope something
Wow.
does.
That's a very interesting question.
Right? Well,
I
what
don't want to
could-
say. I don't want to say. WW3.
Yeah,
That
I
might
wanted to
actually ramp
say.
it up.
I wanted to say, like, is this huge conflict signifying hopefully the end of social media, or is it gonna just make everything worse?
Also,
I think-
is there a huge conflict? Or is-
Shut the fuck
Or
up.
is someone being colonized?
So what I think is if it gets
Not anyway.
if it
Wait,
gets
someone-
bad enough, I don't know where it's going, but if it does get bad enough, I think whether social media is around or not around or a part of the culture or what the role of social media is will be very low on the totem pole of importance.
Oh. Because
I mean,
it's
that's
not,
how bad it
it's
can
not
get.
just colonization. I'm talking about Lebanon and Iran now.
No,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
that's exactly what it is in that region. I feel like these people are agitating for a type of colonial occupation, like
Well,
Okay.
boots on the ground.
but it's also so directly
That's-
linked to America
That's what. That's
that
who
it makes
exactly.
it
That's
war
who I'm
coded,
talking about.
Yes.
but
more.
it makes it imperial
Exactly,
war coded more than
exactly.
the slow burn colonization.
Exactly. But it's imperial coded. It's violent and it's now. It's saying shoot back, right? Like the behavior is feeling like, hey, react, so that there's reasons to have boots on the ground, so that there's reasons to retake space, and so I'm also
Provocation.
wondering about, like, is this conflict being
Escalation for de-escalation.
We're so fine.
Is it-
Is this conflict being escalated into, because there's enough data now? If I think about world wars, if I think about World War II, there's enough data to kind of architect a version of this thing that we think the world is generally, like generally moving towards. Somehow there's a perception in the world that we are going to this war.
Actually, you're right, and I've been thinking a lot about this. Like when, Vladimir Putin decides he wants to get involved, everything switches up.
Yeah.
So you're actually right.
So there's something
Yeah.
being generated and the mood being generated because there's, collapsing economies. There's
Guys, I would be scared of Russia if I was America.
I think everyone is scared of each other is what I'm
Mhm.
starting to understand. America is extremely equipped. America, although we can frame as like the perpetrator all the time, regardless, in the face of conflict, I think they feel like the most prepared party.
I think if the Republicans win, then yes, but if the Dems win, no, because then they're
then what? Sorry,
actively in the world war.
They're the most prepared country.
Yeah.
you
They're the
say.
most equipped for, and
That's
I
what you
think,
get for $1 trillion a year.
But
hang
that's what
on,
I'm saying. You
Guys,
print
can
the
I
money,
add
you buy
even
the
some more
weapons.
psychosis into this conversation? I saw a thread that Azalea Banks tweeted.
The list goes on. The list goes on.
Social media. And it was she was just spitballing, like where she was landing. And the question around immigration obviously comes up. And if you look into the details around like the Dems and their take on immigration, it's pretty fucking open-ended and liberal. And it's when it comes to undocumented immigrants and migrants, right? Like no borders. That's my stance, 100%. But when this influx of people are legally coming into the country, there is society that responds to that. And she was talking about like why is the imperial American government doing it? Because we're about to go into World War III. So all these African migrants and these Mexican men that they're importing into the country, they're going to have to go fight in America's war. And she said because everyone in America is too depressed and FAT
That's real.
to be able to fight in this war
That's
that
plausible.
America's
That is
instigating.
most certainly
Very
plausible.
And one thing about
Interesting take.
Azalea, broken clocks right twice a day.
Yeah.
Dude, I listened to this thing this morning about army recruitment in America and how they are struggling.
But why are these immigrants getting
No.
social grants, housing?
Dude, I think you're onto something there. I'm
Well,
saying they're
that's not
struggling
me.
with like high
This is
school
Azalea
American
Banks.
kids,
Yeah.
right? Really struggling.
But
And
they're on TikTok and Gen Z. Why the fuck would they?
this is the new
Yeah.
message. The new message for army recruitment in America
It's queer.
is no, it's somewhere you belong. Somewhere you belong.
And they're really targeting the queer alphabet, LGBTQIA youth. There's like a lot of trans and drag queens, military.
They can hold a gun.
They can hold the gun. They can.
Yeah, I don't know. Hey, I'm so glad to be in South Africa.
Fuck. when last have we said that?
Every day, baby.
Every day.
I'm a I love this place.
Zanzi,
Okay.
one time.
Yeah, I mean, that's all I have for you guys.
That's all I have. I felt that felt very
Yeah.
good.
I mean, if I'm honest, we could do 10 parts on Elon. But
Is
like,
this a
let's
conspiracy
not go
podcast?
there.
I was literally
Let's
going to
not go
ask that
there.
mid episode. I'm like, this is starting to feel like a conspiracy.
Can I tell
That's
you what I
good,
like?
though.
I like conspiracy theories as thought experiments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
We don't have
so
to
good.
believe it and base
No.
our ideologies on it.
Absolutely not.
We can have our stupid little thoughts.
But
and
that
theories.
thing is obviously in the ether because I mean that doesn't come out of nowhere. World War III is on
Yeah.
the horizon. Immigrants are going to America. Those facts are there.
Yeah.
You know, it's natural that we come up with a story. It
makes
Very
sense.
insightful.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love a conspiracy.
Imagine South African soldiers.
That's a mess. We don't have to, like, opening of parliament, that's the only time we see them.
Do you know what? I know everyone says this, like Absol, whatever, but if you recruit the gangsters, you're good.
You're good. You at least have the bravery locked down.
Wait,
the
before we
craft.
wrap up,
Uh-huh.
I've been seeing Pagat videos on TikTok.
Back again.
They're back.
I can I tell you, I've been waiting for a rebel group in South Africa.
Do you know what Pagat is, Evan? People against gangsterism and drugs.
Yes, I saw those as well. Yes.
And they wear the scarves. And they go and they do vigilante
I watched a
shit.
couple of those. I did.
You know the stachis
I feel like my algorithm and your algorithm are not so
matching
far
up.
off.
Yeah, we're not gonna forget that they were burning people on TV.
We can't.
I can't. I'm scared. When I hear Pagat, we're not talking about Pagat again. Even when I hear Pagat,
Okay.
I'm like,
scary.
Yes.
it's too close. It's too around you.
But
It's terrifying. But like, yes, to vigilantes fighting against drugs and violence in these communities
but
where
that's
no one is taking care of anyone.
Exactly.
Salute to you, actually. I don't know what that feels like. It's terrifying in my mind to even think about or to
But power
possess.
corrupts. That's the
Yeah.
end goal is never.
It's never what you think it starts
Exactly.
as. So whatever's genuine in the beginning is like this.
It
is,
always
this
is lush in the
this-
beginning.
exactly.
It feels really
And
exciting.
also in the
Yeah.
beginning, it's like this is an untenable situation
Yeah,
that
so we
we live
have
in.
to do
so we have to do
something.
something so extreme
Yeah.
to kind of quell this thing that's unlivable.
Yeah.
And so
and we've been personally affected.
exactly.
I'm just glad it's not attacking the foreigners.
Yeah.
For once.
Yeah, and I think that's important in South Africa. So for us to account for our society as it,
And even
as it shows up.
community wise, because Pagat is in the Western Cape, it's to do with colored gangsterism. Like
yeah, we have to account. You know,
yes.
like
At some
and accounting
fucking point.
is difficult. El Salvador.
yeah.
Fucking El Salvador, the
Wow,
prisons,
dude.
and making
Locked
it one of the
Holy
safest
shit.
places on the planet. But
Those prisons
it's like,
are-
who do you choose, right? Like,
The men?
in society, do you
Or-
choose these these people that make society unlivable,
Uh-huh.
and whatever condition affects them, right? Like whatever we can give them to be like, yeah, we
Shame,
understand,
yeah.
shame, you've become this way, but. There's something where I'm like, oh my God, this is terrifying, but this is the world. This is the world. It's like this is
Guys,
somehow
and
the only
colored
way to think about
communities
this
are
thing.
unlivable. They're so violent. Like the amount of children that get murdered and crossfire alone.
Yeah.
Like it's unlivable.
And my point with Pagat and that connection
Yeah.
is that that's an extreme action.
Yeah.
And I'd be excited to see one extreme action one way or the other. I don't know which extreme
And it's
is
funny
required.
that it's
As long as you can just be watching it.
It is
Exactly.
It is funny that it's in a DA-led province as well. I think that makes the conversation more interesting than it was in the past.
Also, there's a thing that happened when Cyril Ramaphosa was campaigning to become president. They created a gang unit.
Yes.
That was gonna go solve the problems in the Cape Flats, but they underfunded that gang unit. That gang unit ended up massacring colored people for no reason.
Yes.
This story has gone under the radar.
Yeah.
This story kind of came and
Where
disappeared.
did you hear about it?
So first I heard about it through Anlim Mutama, and then I read a Mail and Guardian article about it.
And
I
then
was
it's
like,
also swept, it is also kind of masked by an inherent anti-blackness that I feel like we're chipping away at because of Amapiano, that colored people have. And it gets shrouded, things like that, where yes, the black government did do this to us. That does not excuse anti-blackness, but legitimate stories like that get shrouded by like ignorance and colored
Yeah.
people's insistence on hating black people.
Yeah. So this guy is also, yeah, it's that. It's like that he went where people were, disposable.
And he
And where there were bodies, and created a scenario that actually made these spaces a little more dangerous,
way more.
right? And now he's our president. He's the president of the republic. But yeah, that I just remembered that. But yeah, these extremes sort of have counterpoints, right? There has to be an extreme thrust towards whatever it is you're saying you're gonna do,
Yeah.
because there'll be pushback, there'll be movement against it. Yeah. Lots of people in prison. You walk past the jail. I used to live on the other side, so I used to walk past the jail, and it's like the Nasif Modak and, these these police escorts, and it's just like it makes
Fuck.
you shiver. It's like South
Yeah.
Africa for real.
Yeah.
It's like fuck,
Mhm.
and you're
That was
walking
like
down that street.
early 90s shit. That's like what you feel. Where
That's
it's like
what I
things
feel when I
weren't
walk
quite
past it.
Ubuntu
And
just
people,
yet.
People are
Like,
yelling to the cells at the people inside that they're coming to look for, that are gonna go to court. It's like it's this area and it smells like pee
It
down
smells
the
like
street.
piss.
It's like, oh man, such
have
a
you been to
sensory
Poles
experience.
more, dog?
I have.
Yes,
I
of
have.
course. Yeah. Anyway, on
Not
that
inside Paul.
bright note, apologies to Mike and our listeners for the exterior sounds. The weather's so beautiful in Cape Town. We're recording outside. Soz.
Pretty day.
Worth it.
I think that was sobering and a reckoning. We should do our little gratitude moment.
Starting with
Like, what was a really nice moment or something you're feeling grateful for in your last week?
I got a new car.
Nice.
And I feel a little mobile again. I feel like I'm outside of this,
Yeah,
This-
and so used to have this
this
really
radius.
cool vintage
Is
car.
the BM out of the picture?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
I still have it. It's just broken down. And
Yeah.
that's the thing. That's why we're super reliable. I'm like, I don't want to talk about fixing a car again. I want to just drive. I just want to get in the car
This
and
is a
drive.
VW campaign. Ogilvy Cape
I
Town.
didn't even
Hit me
say
up.
the name of the car.
Hit me up.
Now they should pay for this. Actually, yeah. When are we doing the ad space?
No,
When
we
selling
can't
the
do an ad
space?
space. When we were talking about voice table.
Okay, guys. This as
Someone will buy
producer
this
Evan, let's have this
VW, be
convo
brave.
offline. If we're gonna get into the numbers, let's take it offline.
Okay, fair enough. Nice,
you for
congrats. Oh, so it's just your grateful part.
No.
It's good. Material
So thank you
things.
for
That's what
listening.
Mzonke is into.
Yeah, material things. That's what I'm grateful
The
for.
material
I'm grateful.
conditions
Oh, but
that
material
you're
conditions on the
experiencing.
ground.
On the wheels.
I'm appreciate. I hung out with my mother this week
Stunning.
Beautiful.
quite a bit. That was beautiful.
Beautiful.
Moms are it.
We did comedy here. That was very
Yes.
fun.
Do you know what I realized? I don't mean to get all Freudian, but why I haven't watched you perform yet is because, like, my earliest memories of my dad are stand-up
Yes.
shows, and you guys have a very similar physicality I've seen from your social media in your stand-up performance. So I'm just scared. It'll happen.
It'll happen in its own time.
I know
In
you're
due
funny.
time.
I know all my jokes rock to the audience.
Yeah, the audience love you. The audience absolutely love you. Ghostwriters. I'm appreciative for my ghostwriter. Yeah. I've been feeling very constructive. I've appreciated watching movies. I was watching like
Same.
Altman movies. And I was
the
like,
player.
you know when you sometimes you forget. You think you're so good at stuff.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, you're
And then,
terrible.
and then you watch Robert Altman
Yeah.
and then you like shut the fuck up
Dog,
and
I'm
get to
even-
work,
Exactly.
dude. Like what
Guys,
are you on about?
It's-
Like just shoot
it's,
stuff.
It's
do things.
inspiring and humbling.
Guys, I'm
Yeah.
watching Lost, J.J. Abrams.
Yes.
What am
David,
I?
David Lindelof, dude. He's the one. Have you seen The Leftovers?
No.
He's a co-creator of Lost.
Okay.
Watch The Leftovers.
Okay, I will.
That is...
Because I tapped out, okay, so let me just go down this boat, down this road, whatever, expression that is. Shai was like, I really want you to watch Walking Dead with me. And me, I hate a zombie anything. Like, it's just not a preference of mine. I was like, fine. Obviously, episode 1, I was fucking locked in. And then we went through getting through everything. And it was so...
You finished it?
Yeah, but not the newest stuff. I
Okay,
haven't
yeah,
watched
yeah.
Fear of the Walking Dead, and I refuse to.
Yeah.
It's just the emotional stuff. He's like, okay, cool, babe, now Lost. And I'm like, you couldn't even watch Succession with me. Now I must watch Lost. And then I tried like 2 seasons, and I was crying every episode. I was like, I can't do this. My brain is exploding. And this was like a year ago. And then he started watching season 3 by himself again. And I was like, what's happening? What's happening in this episode? And now I'm like
Back
so
again.
locked in.
Yeah.
And I'm like, imagine keeping millions of people fucking locked in week after week, telling the most absurd story.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
doing the most ridiculous things. Yeah, I ain't going shit on anybody.
Yeah,
I'm making
that's-
little
that's
adverts. What the
exactly.
fuck?
I'm like,
It was
shut the fuck
Louis
up, dude.
weekend. Like,
You know what I mean? I'm like, shut the fuck up. And so that's been revitalizing. That's cool. And I'm seeing things
Perspective.
again. And I'm like, oh,
so nice.
this is the thing that I'm in love with.
Yeah.
This is the thing.
Yeah.
And when I watch it, it's not about liking it or not liking it. It's like kind of seeing this thing that's being made up and
Yep.
is interesting and is playful and is brilliant and is, has moments and is pop cultural. It's like fucking cool again.
Yeah,
I'm
I
like,
watched
oh, man.
Badlands. It was crazy.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like this is SpaceX.
So
It's like, are you
good, dog.
fucking kidding me?
Anyway.
Yeah. It's in a way it's too good. When I watch something that's too good, it kind of makes me feel a bit, I don't know. It's not only it's there's some negative feelings involved.
That's how I felt
Yeah.
after Get Out. I was
Yeah.
extremely upset that I haven't made a movie on that level.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I walked out the cinema and I was just like watching it with an audience and like I was like, fuck, cinema's back. It's Steven Spielberg all over again. Like, what are we gonna do? Why am I not making movies?
Yeah, I get so jealous.
Same.
Yeah.
But
I
that's
get
good. Then
so
I know
jealous.
the movie's good.
My gratitude is also related to this. I went
Yeah.
to go see Portrait of a Lady on Fire.
Nice.
Just playing at the lobby.
Yeah.
So I was like, I gotta take
Catch
this
it.
opportunity.
Uh-huh.
So
And I because I'd seen it, but I'd seen it on like a monitor or whatever, like a computer screen. And I thought it was very good, but watching it like this, I'm like, this thing is exceptional. It's so masterful. You know, it's very minimal, and I think if you can get minimal right, that's like the true like hand of a master. You know, there's like so much poetry in it. Anyways, I love that film. It's really fucking good, and I also feel very intimidated after watching it. Can recommend.
You guys are turning this into a film podcast.
This is our
I'm not gonna-
gratitude.
This is the
Like,
end.
it's what
This
we're
is the
thankful
end.
for. So I don't know. Don't ask us questions.
I saw you falling asleep there during my answer.
No,
It's
I
all
wasn't.
good,
I was
dude.
listening. I
okay.
was like taking it in. I also feel I didn't want to just copy you guys and like change my answer.
Don't change your answer.
Your answer's great.
What is your answer?
I have gratitude for myself and like the effort I'm putting into improve my experience of life. I'm trying to like navigate and operate from a space of like grace and positivity as opposed to like a really angry space I've been in. And yeah, it's just I can feel like the chaos subsiding a little bit, and I'm just really happy that I've facilitated that for myself because it's been really boring and
Yeah.
really hard and like very understimulating, and I just have like a little bit of like a shinier lens on everything, and I'm really happy to be in this space. I know it's a pendulum, fuck it, but it
Right
just
now
feels
it's
nice
good.
right
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Long
yeah.
may it last.
And shout out Badlands. That was insane.
Shout
oh my
out
God. Martin
Badlands.
Sheen. Oh my God.
People
I
get so
love
cool.
actors.
Yeah,
I'm also
absolutely.
grateful for actors.
Have you seen
I
Days
love-
of Heaven?
No.
That's next.
Okay.
That's next.
Cool. I love actors. That's what I'm grateful for.
Yeah.
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 I love y'all. You're fucked. Love my
Fucking
dad.
most amazing. Yeah.
Thank you for listening to the pod.
Y'all have been wonderful.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.